Welcome back to another video. I'm going to do a quick unboxing today on an amp that I picked up. This is the Fender Mustang LT25 and it is a modelling amp. This amp is really designed for someone who wants to experiment with different sounds built into the amp already. I'm just going to unbox in this video and show the amp to you because there are so many sounds and different effects that you can get with it. I really couldn't squeeze it into the video without making it much longer, so I think it's better to do a separate one later on, and I also need to use it for a bit of time just to see how I get along with it. Not too many items with this apart from the quick start guide and the power cable. That's quite a long power cable, just under 2 meters in length. There is another box in there, but it's just the European power cable, the 2-pin connector instead of the 3-pin UK, so that was a slight disappointment. I thought they might have accidentally left a foot pedal in there. The price on this, I think I paid around $129 sterling. There is another model that Fender do which has been out for a while, which is the Mustang 1 version 2. That amplifier, you can connect it to your computer and adjust the sounds with the Fender software. The Amazon listing was incorrect on the dimensions, so I've put that on the screen for you. Reason I went for this is because I just want to use the amplifier and I can adjust all the settings on it with the LCD display, rather than messing around, putting it on the computer, tweaking it and things like that. Some people might prefer that. I'll just show you the top panel now where all the controls are, and this is quite clearly laid out with the knobs on the left hand side. The largest one is the master with the overall sound output from the speaker. Quite smooth in operation. I really don't have any complaints with the build quality on this. It feels perfectly fine. Obviously it's made in China. It isn't a premium amp as such. It's really designed as a practice or a home amplifier. It does have a pretty good output, slightly higher than the Mustang 1 version 2. They've rated it for 25 watts compared to 20. Your connections are on the left hand side. You have the input, the foot switch, auxiliary, and you have the headphone socket out. On the right hand side you have the dial, which has a push function, and next to that the 4 buttons and the micro USB and power. Very straightforward and simple operation on this. I've been playing around with it for a while, but I do want to use it more before I can give you an overall verdict. Handle at the top is flush with the case, and this has quite a deep section inside, but you can just slip your hand under. That gives you quite a bit of stability lifting it up, and it's obviously a space saving design, so you don't have anything hanging off the amplifier. On the back of the amp, this has a closed back, just have the power input and screws on the outside just to hold it in place. Fender are saying that it is a wooden case, but they don't specify what type of wood. I'd assumed it would have been something like MDF, but I mean, if it is solid wood, it's obviously going to be relatively inexpensive considering the cost. On the other side we have quite thick rubberized feet, so that will stop vibration or moving around if you have it on a hard surface. The only thing it doesn't have is any of those corner protectors that they put on a lot of the more expensive amps to protect the corners. Other than that, it feels perfectly fine for the price that I paid for it. Certainly not unhappy with the overall design and build of this unit. There's a cloth covering over the speaker on the front, and that is an 8-inch speaker that they have. This is going to be a step up from those micro or mini amps because you've got that larger speaker which will give you a bit more tonal depth. You could argue that some of the sound effects are going to be a bit gimmicky on this, but then if you have an interest in specific areas such as distortion and metal or country, then you're going to find something in this that you can tweak around and get to your own taste. Fender are giving you a 2-year warranty with this. I will show you the user guide. This is the quick start guide. It isn't the full manual. I will put a link to that below. This guide will just give you a quick overview of the operation, and it really is very straightforward and simple. Much easier than some of the other amps that I have looked at in the past and tried. There are a lot of effects and different areas to tweak on this, including the amps. There's around 20 different amplifiers, 50 effects in total, but you can only access 30 at one time. Not exactly sure why they've done that, unless they wanted to try and keep it a little bit simpler for the user. I'll put them up on screen for you now. There are the 30 that you get included, and you can just swap those out with the other ones if you find something you don't like. Obviously for reasons of trademarks they can't, for example, say Vox. They've used different names. I will have a play around with this. There's so many different effects and voices that you can use, that I do really need to do a separate video on that rather than trying to cram it into this one. But I am using it continuously every day, so if you've got any questions on this, do leave a comment below and I'll give you my thoughts. My initial impressions are that I quite like this, very good value, practice amp, and it's also a nice compact size.